So I wanted to address some of the issues in the comments on the first video I did about carrying a round in the chamber with the hammer down on a 1911. It was much more controversial than I thought, so why don't I do it in real life as if I was carrying this with actual live ammo. I did it with a dummy round earlier, but we're going to do it for real this time. So some of the issues were people saying John Browning is a god, and if you don't carry this like he designed, cocked and locked, then you shouldn't have a 1911. That's just ridiculous. Some people just don't feel comfortable carrying one in the chamber with the hammer back in case somehow the safeties all fail at once, and maybe you're carrying it, the manual safety is disengaged, and somehow the thumb safety and then the trigger get pulled. It's possible. So why don't I show you how to do this in real life with live ammo. So we're going to be using just target rounds for now. So let's go. Okay, so one of the things was it's not safe to do this, but we're still going to practice safety precautions here. We're going to be pointing it down, away from anybody. So nothing in the chamber right now. So here, now it's down. See, live round. Live round. So this is how they want you to carry it. Cocked and locked. But what I was saying was you can keep the hammer down with one in the chamber. So disengage the safety. Now, look at the grip I have on that hammer. It's not going anywhere. You need to have a firm grip on it. Pull the trigger. Now, immediately release the trigger. And now it cannot fire in this position because there is a half-cocked, I called it smidge-cocked position. See that? The smidge-cocked position. So I didn't want it resting on the firing pin, but I'm going to do a little demonstration to see that the firearm cannot even fire when it's resting on the firing pin. So in this position, you cannot fire it. So one in the chamber and the hammer is not cocked. So this is a very, I think it's safe. Go back here. Look, you had a really firm grip on this hammer, and it's pointed down and away from anybody. So again, release the trigger. Now if you kept the trigger pulled the whole time and released the hammer, it will fire. But release the trigger. Now it can go down to the smidge cock position. Now you can go it all the way, but I just don't feel comfortable having it on the firing pin. So a lot of 1911 models, they don't even have this position. So actually few models, most have this this design here. But you might as well try and see what your 1911 is like. But so why don't we see if the firearm can still fire if somehow in this position some of the internal components fail and the hammer falls just this little bit. Can it go off? So I brought a little device to make that possible. I'm going to put this bit in here. I'm going to pull it out and see if it can fire from this with this little momentum. Okay, here we go. So it's pointed down and away from anybody. I'm in the middle of nowhere, by the way. This bit is holding the hammer back. So it's ready to fire if I pull this bit out. Let's see if it has enough momentum to fire the firearm. Okay, ready? Okay, let's see if it was just a light primer strike. I'm going to hold it like this. Usually about 30 seconds if it's a light primer strike, but I don't believe it's going to go off. Let's check the primer and see if there's even a mark on it. Okay, so there's a tiny little mark, but it's not anywhere near enough to have the firearm go off. So in this position, in this position, the firearm can't go off even if somehow the internal components go bad and it drops from this little position. So I think this is a very safe way to carry the 1911 and not have it cocked and locked. But let's demonstrate and actually pull the firearm, cock it back, and shoot it. Now it's empty. I just took the round out, but let's demonstrate that. All right, here we go. One target round. The second round is the dummy round. Firm grasp. Smidge cock position. So now when you're carrying this, if you need to use it quickly, you can pull it, pull the hammer, and you're ready to go. Now, one of the things was people were saying, well, then you might as well just carry nothing in the chamber. Well, if you need to use this quickly and you go to load the firearm extremely quickly, you might short chuck it and jam the firearm. So in this case, there's one in the chamber already. All you need to do is pull the hammer back. There's no chance of that. So let's do it. Oh, bad guy. Hammer. See, I think that's a really practical way to carry this firearm. Now, one more thing I wanted to address. When I was doing that video, I was using a dummy round, but I put it on top of live ammo, like this. And apparently that was controversial. There's no way a live round could have gone in the chamber. The only thing that could go in the chamber is this dummy round. So that's another, I got a lot of comments and a lot of likes on that comment. But so I think carrying cocked and lock, really I'm not comfortable doing that. So this is a method that I would use.